Hey folks, welcome to the Leeds View podcast for the first podcast of the week. And it's a bank holiday Monday night. I'm joined by Paul to have a little bit of a look back at the weekend's action from Leeds and have a chat around the run in and the sides down around the bottom half. As it got a little bit easier for Leeds United coming out of this weekend. It might be out of our hands in a good way going into next weekend's game as well, depending on how that goes. But we want to have a chat about that, what's going on in the Premier League this week, and a look ahead to what will be the final three games of the season. So yeah, delighted to be joined by Paul. No Jerry tonight. He is busy watching Dundalk playing tonight. An important game for them. But we'll be back during the week for the second pod. Paul, how you doing, mate?
Well, I'm absolutely fine. I am calm. I am neutral. I am in a good place. I am feel like I want to say I told you so to a few people, but other than that, I'm good. I'm very good. I am immeasurably proud of my football team. We had a great day out on the game on Saturday. It was on Friday night. It was great fun. Obviously got to see Jerry. Met some really lovely Irish people. One of them who was from California. It was his first game at Ellen Road. But it was the pie was lovely as well, by the way. Buttered chicken
Was it beef?
pie. It was buttered chicken. It was really nice. But the game, I'm happy with the game. The game was absolutely fine. It went just how I thought it would go. In all honesty, we didn't really have to get out of second gear because they weren't really there to do anything other than until the point when they actually scored a goal. But other than that, we were absolutely fine. I disagree with some people saying with regards to Tanaka. I thought Tanaka had a really good defensive first half. If not, yeah, he gave the ball away a few times, but his tracking back, breaking up with the play, and retaining the ball was good to see. But just it's just what we needed to do. Delighted for DCL. That's another goal for DCL, and that's where you want your number 9 to be. You want him to be on the penalty spot, getting ready to score a goal, and just Okafor scoring goals for Okafor's sake. That is one of the sexiest moves I've seen all season. The back heel, the pass
into from Bial into Stack for his goal, I thought was delicious, and then the back heel from Gabriel was.
It's just when it comes off, it's really, really good, because we all thought when DCL was running, we all kind of went, oh, where's he going? And then you saw Bogle underlapping, and you just thought, oh, right. Oh, shit, he's done it. Right, okay, no, that's worked. And then Bogle gets his head up, and a lovely chipped cross, beautiful chipped cross. And he kind of mishits it, Okafor, but that's how he should have hit it anyways.
I don't know if he mishit it. I think he did exactly what he wanted to do with it. I think he knew he had to keep it down and then just get it on target, and he did that.
But that's 8 goals for him this season now.
6 in his last 7 games.
Yeah, it just I've talked about it today in my video, is that when we've needed players to step up, particularly after international break, where we know that we struggle, it can take us a couple of games to get back into it.
Yeah,
we've just been fantastic, and like I said, the game was really good. What I really liked about it is that it felt like a bit of a celebration. It felt like the crowd. I mean, the crowd were noisy, by the way.
They were
properly noisy. It really helps that Burnley couldn't sell out the bottom end of the away bit, so that was full of Leeds fans as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Burnley probably couldn't sell out anything at the moment, but it was one of the best chants I heard, actually, which was really, really good, was you've got 6 fingers, we've only got 5, which to me was hilarious, because I actually thought, well, technically that's not right, because it should be 12 fingers and we've only got 10. But I'll give you that but it worked as a chant. But just it felt like the crowd was showing their appreciation for the FA Cup side of things. It just felt like the crowd was showing their appreciation to the team as well for what they were doing, and the support for Farke, that was loud for him as well. They were all chanting his name, and it was just what I would have loved would have been for us to win 4-0 and go 13th. That would have been hilarious had that happened. But it wasn't to be. It's just one of those things. But we managed to then go up another place without having to kick a ball on the Sunday because of Crystal Palace losing 2-0. So that Strand Larsen deal looks really good for them at the moment, doesn't it? so yeah, I'm happy. I feel like the team and everything has done what they've needed to do. I feel like I've been vindicated slightly for being positive, for feeling like we're going to be okay. And that's not me going, oh, I'm smarter than everybody else. It's just when you put your neck on the line a little bit to say, yeah, I think we're going to be okay, and it comes to fruition. It's just nice. So yeah, overall, cool. I'm happy, mate.
Yeah, I mean, but that's look, that's the reality of doing podcasts and doing content online. You know, you have to put your opinion out there, and a lot of people can keep their opinion to themselves. They can say what they want in a text message or type something, but ultimately, the stuff that you say or I say or any of them when I does a podcast, Square Ball lads, BBC, any of them, it's out there. Once you say give your opinion, it's out there, and it can be used back again. Say, oh well, you said this. You know that football's a reactive sport. You base your decisions and you base your opinions on where you are at that given time. And I want to talk about that bit tonight when we get to Daniel Farke, because we are going to talk about Daniel Farke. But I think you're right. Look, I think the reaction to the FA Cup defeat was massive. I think that was the one thing I wanted to see. Would we come out of the blocks firing against Burnley? And we did. That first 20 minutes. Then we set off a little bit, which made me a little bit nervous. And again, we do it, but I think it was more a player thing than anything else. And then the second half, we were slow to start. Burnley came out of the blocks because again they had to try and get something out of the game. And then we took it over again, got our goals, and we sat back again. So we invited a bit more pressure on than we needed to, but you can probably understand it in the situation they were in, knowing, look, it's important to get 3 points here, and then we can probably relax a little bit. So no huge issues. Tanaka, I agree with you. I think we described it after the game as he had two very different types of a game in one match. He had off the ball tackling, interceptions that he's normally very good at, were excellent still. On the ball, a bit sloppier than he has been in recent weeks, a bit more, what's the word I use? Anonymous at times.
Yeah.
When we were on the ball. But again, he's got to do two different jobs that when he's in there. And he won them pretty well. The goals, I agree with you. Anton, that ball from Yakubial and Anton Stock for me was
ridiculous.
Oh, what a pass. Just fizzes it into him. Great touch out of his feet, and it's a great goal. He has been a phenomenal signing for Leeds this season, Anton Stack. And I think I said immediately in the reaction after the game, build your team around him. He is now one of the top players in the Premier League. He has no player has created more chances than him in Premier League outside of that bloke that plays for Manchester United. He plays a lot more minutes, so we don't talk about him. So yeah, it's been phenomenal by him. DCL is contributing. If you look at the goals this season, Daniel Farke said at the start of the year the players would need to share the wealth a little bit more when it came to goals this year, and that's exactly how it's panned out. Calvert-Lewin's got 12 in the league. Okafor's got 8. Mitchell's got 6. Stack's got 5. Aronson's got 4. James Justin's got 2. Sean Longstaff's got 2. Tanaka's got 2. Joe Rodon's got 1, 2, apparently. In the cup. Ethan Ampadu has 1. Yakubial has 1. Jaden Bogle has 1. So they have shared it. I mean, when you look at the goals and assists this year combined, Calvert-Lewin's got 13 GNA. Okafor's got 9 GNA. Aronson's got 9 GNA. Stack's got 8 GNA. Mitchell's got 7 GNA. So they have kind of shared the wealth a little bit when they've had to this year. But we've talked about it being a team effort all season. We've talked about character with this side. I think we've seen all the aspects of it in the last couple of weeks, to bounce back ability to come back from that FA Cup game, but also to handle the pressure of this game, because as much as Burnley were relegated, we were still coming into this game knowing, well, their manager's been sacked, so we're dealing with a different proposition now than we were against Scott Parker. And that might have been a good thing. It might have been actually a good thing because of Farke's record. I think we talked about this. Does a new manager bounce work in reverse if you've got a bad record against the old manager?
Oh, God.
But it did. But it was just a case of Leeds doing what they needed to do. And it was a professional performance. I think that's the bulk of the commentary around it since the weekend has been professional performance by Leeds. Job done, move on. And then the results fall the way they fell over the course of the weekend. And Leeds are in a position going into next weekend where we could be safe without kicking a football. And, for the one... Again, we text back and forth about this, and I was like, I just don't want Arteta to ever win a game of football again. Does it have to be him? Does it have to be him? But I'll take it this weekend. But I do want to have a look at a couple of few bits and pieces. I'll try to put the screen real quick and we can have a chat about this, because I'll come back to Daniel Farke in a second, because I do want to talk about him in a bit of detail, because again, as we say, we want to stay balanced on this podcast. So if we do criticize somebody at one point, we also want to make sure we're praising them at the right time as well. Yeah. Keep it fair and balanced. But you wanted to talk a bit about this, Paul. You did a video today over on your channel. You can check that out. Links down below as well. And you don't think that this has been talked about enough. So I wanted to give you the floor and have your say on this. Or if you're listening on the audios, by the way, we're looking at Leeds being nominated for Manager of the Month, Player of the Month, Goal of the Month for... It's there twice, actually. Apologies. Creative Moment of the Month, which nobody actually realized was
Save of the Month as well.
but it is and player of the month.
Yeah.
And team of the week, team of the month for April.
Yeah.
So Leeds are represented in all of those different categories. So floor is yours, Paul.
Yeah, it's been touched on briefly, but I don't think it's any when you look at sort of April as a whole for us and what we've managed to do in April and the points that we've managed to get. We haven't lost. We've just take the FA Cup out of it. I don't count the FA Cup. But in the league, we haven't lost. We've picked up an available 10 points from a possible 12. We picked up 11 from 15, or if you want to go a little bit further back, we picked up, I think is it 12 from 18, I think, overall. And in doing so, we just have kind of set the marker down a little bit. And I think for me, the thing that's really important about this is we talk about this a lot, and we talk about players standing up and being counted and putting the head above the parapet and being around to say, yeah, I'm going to make a difference in this. I'm going to do something that's going to affect in a positive way, and for us as a team and for the fans and everything, and affect everything in a positive way. So you've got Farke, who we're going to touch on him in a little bit later, but Farke, who has done very, very well. You've then, in terms of player of the month, you've got Okafor. He's been a revelation since he's come back from injury. For me, he has
You were talking about him before he came back. You had said
yeah,
during that period of time, and you were kind of worded it carefully. You said, I could be wrong, but I think we're missing Okafor, and that's why we're not scoring goals. And lo and behold, he comes back and we start scoring goals again.
Well, that's the thing. And my other point on that is that, and I can say this now with Chester, and I firmly believe it. Had he not been injured for that 4-week period, I think we would have been safe ages ago.
Yeah.
Because he has, for me, he's been one of the most pleasant surprises this season, because we all knew that there is a skillful player in there, but we all knew he's had his injury problems. He's not played a lot of football, and it was a bit of a risk. It's 18 million quid spent on a player brought over. Is it going to be? How's he going to work out? It took a little while to settle in, and it was the game against Chelsea when he came on as a substitute, and I thought, Jesus Christ, he's really making a difference here in terms of what he can do. The partnership that he's built up with Goodmanson has been ridiculous. The overlapping and the cutting in, just his overall. He loves to stand a player up. He loves a bit of trickery, and he loves himself, which is you want that. You want a bit of an ego with a star player, and that's what he's got. He's a difference maker, and he's been a difference maker. And it's not just his attacking prowess that's been really good, but it's also his defensive work as well, which has been the big thing. Is that's been
changed as the season's gone on. That's
massively
improved.
that he coming back and covering for Goodmanson or Justin, whoever's in on that position, and he's getting his just reward. He's got to be a shoo-in to go to the World Cup for me. He has to be, just in terms of the way that he's playing. He's also now got the most amount of goals of a Swiss player in the Premier League now. He's equaled the record of 8 in a single season. You've then got goal of the month, which is the Justin side of things. And for me, Justin is he's one of the best signings of the summer by a country mile. He's our new Stuart Dallas incarnate. Wherever he's played, yeah, he might not have the same attacking prowess as a Goodmanson when he's having to fill in on the left wing back role, but he's solid.
Don't worry about him.
No, he's solid. You just know that it's gonna work. And it's a similar sort of thing with Biol. If people hadn't watched him play for Udinese, nobody would know what he was like, Biol. And now seeing him in a 3, he just mops everything up. It's ridiculous. He just mops everything up. So then you've got the save of the month, Carl Darlow. Darlow's been having a great season since he's been brought in. And it's 2 seasons running now that Darlow's done this. Done with the Melier thing, and then coming in because Perry's not settling very, very well. And just the way that the save that he makes against Wolves is just excellently good. He's earned his contract. And then you've got our American boy with the creative moment of the month with the pass into Okafor against Wolves that he scores. And it's just, when you look at it and the points that we've gotten, it's no surprise to me that we've got 6 Leeds United representees within that across the board. It's players that are standing up and being counted, and players that are doing what they need to do. We know that we might not be we're not the best team in the league. We know that. We're a good side, and we've gotten much better. We've done a typical Farke thing, which is having strong end to the season, which is like
Yeah.
how Farke seasons tend to go. But just all of these players, they've stood up and said, I'm going to make a difference. And they all have done. And like I said, when I say it's not been shouted about in a month, this needs to be celebrated. This at such a crucial point in time to the season, Joe, at such a critical point in time in the season, they've all done a job. They've all done fantastically well. You know,
And
Stack's come back in for the 2 games, and he doesn't look like he's been out. It's
no,
just,
in fact, he looked hungrier now than he did before he went out, and that was saying something. There's an interesting point to this as well, and I'll open up the league table real quick. Come back to Daniel Farke in a second and the player results. So open the league table for a second, and these players have had to step up, and not just the fact that they've stepped up at the right time, but in those awards for the month categories, there are West Ham United players nominated. There is a Nottingham Forest manager. I mean, Nottingham Forest, when you include all of their competitions, I think are on an 8-game winning run or something, like a 7-game winning run. Like, so they're on a hell of a run right now. And Spurs have found their form under De Zerbi now, getting 7 points in the last 3 league games. So they've had to hit this form at this moment in time because, again, it's starting to look like 40 points isn't going to be enough to keep you in the Premier League this season. Someone's going down on 42. I think I said start of the year 42 would keep us up, but we're on 43 right now, and you're still looking at the weekend going, West Ham win, that's 39. And there's still 2 games to go, but they won't beat Arsenal. They shouldn't beat Arsenal. But it's now becoming a case of, well, that 3 points against Manchester United looks huge. Right now. That surprise win. Take it. But is it a surprise win? And this is where I wanted to go and talk about tonight, because I wanted to talk about Daniel Farke. Because before, in and around the Aston Villa game, the first half of the season, we were talking about it, and we kind of kicked the can down the road on, do you sack him? Do you keep him? Do you sack him? Do you keep him? What do you do? And we got to that. I think we all said, look, Villa, if it still hasn't fixed itself by Villa, you got to change something. And this is where I wanted to show this. If you look at it, Leeds' first 14 games, 3 wins, 8 losses, picked up 11 points. Load of draws in there as well, right? And at that point before the Manchester City game, we were all saying, I mean, the Daily Mail were even saying it, his job's on the line. He could go here. Yeah, there were those who would say, well, you should just back them and stuck with him. But the evidence at that point suggested we're playing out from the back and being caught by teams that are good at pressing, and we're not learning. We're not scoring enough goals. We're conceding too many goals, and the players we brought in don't seem to work in this system. The formation's not working. Why are we bringing in 2 extra centre halves and then not play either two of them? Why are so many of the players from the Championship side starting week in and week out versus the players you've bought to come in and make this side stronger? And I think the line that we used at that time was, you either change the approach, change the system, change the players, or change the manager. Now, Daniel Farke at halftime, and again, we talked about it, and there's a watch-along clip somewhere of me going, he's not actually going to do it, is he? And that was at halftime when I saw Jacobi all standing in the tunnel. It's like, is he going to go 3 at the back? He's not going to go 3 at the back, is he? Is he actually going to do this? And we saw what happened then. Now, Farke will say that wasn't a turning point in the season. We covered it in the news today. And he can say whatever he wants, and he's entitled to say whatever he wants. He's a manager of Leeds United, and he has to control narratives, and I completely understand that. But for me, it's the biggest sliding door moment that I've seen in Leeds United in a very, very long time. Because it takes an awful lot for somebody to go, I need to change how I'm approaching this. And not every manager will do this. I think I said it in the news today. A lot of managers will go, this is my style, this is my approach. I believe in it, I'm sticking with it. He didn't. He changed his base formation. Now, he has dipped in and out of the 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, but he started pretty much every single game with the 3 at the back. There's different ways of playing out. Sometimes they play out with a 4, sometimes they play out with a 1, sometimes they play out with a 3. There's different ways of approaching it. But ultimately, it's that 3 at the back with the wingers tucked in and no natural width from wide players, allowing the fullbacks to play higher up and get involved. Extra player in the middle of the park as well. And it has been a hell of a turnaround since then for Leeds United. 67% of all of our losses came in that first 14 games. 67%. Since the 29th of November, Leeds, if you were to start the Premier League on that date and run it to now, Leeds would be 6th in the Premier League. Now, unfortunately for us, it's that kind of a year when you look at the run here. It hasn't jumped up as much as it could have because of the sides that are also down there with us. But when you realize you're still only, 6 points off the European spots? heading into this weekend as well. It tells you how tight and compact the Premier League has got this year. But you look at that drop that was going on to up till week 12, and we were talking, that's when we were talking, that low point there
Yeah.
is where we're talking about, you got to start thinking about changing the manager at this point because something's broken and it's not working. And he changes it. And for me, and I've always said it, you praise and you criticize in equal measure.
Yep.
And I won't change how I approach that. If something's wrong, I'll call it out and say, look, you should be criticized. And Daniel Farke talked about that as well. He said, this is the game. I understand the game. Fans are entitled to their opinion. But it turned on that moment. And since then, 4 defeats since then. And Leeds have been on a hell of a run. 4 defeats since the 29th of November for a newly promoted side in the Premier League. Gone past 40 points. Could easily hit 50 points by the end of the season if they continue to go in the way they're going. And I don't fear this side up against anybody. We've taken points off big sides this year.
Yep.
And we've won games we've had to win. And the reaction has been the right way. And it just, for me, it's just been a hell of a turnaround. Now, I'll say this because personal preference and style comes into this as well. If you don't like Daniel Farke's style and approach to football, that's absolutely fine. If you love Daniel Farke's style and approach to football, that is also absolutely fine. If you like him as a person or you don't, that's all personal preference. But from a factual point of view, they need to bottle this. And he as a manager needs to realize that whether he says it publicly or not, behind closed doors, that was an important moment for the season and important for him as a Premier League manager as well. And it's a huge starting point for next season if they identify that and don't decide to start next season with a mindset that they had at the start of this season. They need to make sure that they've learned the lessons, apply them, and go again next year. And we could have a very strong start to the season because the second half of the season has been incredibly impressive when you step back from the wall for a minute and look at everything and have a good, clear picture of it. It's been really, really important. I think it's important to call it out, the turnaround. And he deserves the credit for making that change. No matter what way he fell upon that change, he made that change and he stuck with it. And I think he deserves credit for that. But I wanted to give you a say on this as well.
I agree. We talked about it ad infinitum quite a lot around about that time in November last year, where we just said something needs to change. And it is, like you said, if it's not working, it's either the players, the system, or the manager that you need to look at making a change with. And it's a really good analogy, that, of it being a sliding doors moment, because that is exactly what it is. Because even though we lost that game, everybody came out of that game going, oh, that's how we need to play. That's the way. This is the way that we need to play moving forwards. This is what we have to do, and it's proven that way. What we've been able to do with this, and again, this is where you've got to give Farke credit, is the adaptability of that system of the 3-5-2, however you want to say that it is, however you want to put it forward in terms of the way that it's being played. He's operated a bit more of a what would you say, 3-4-2-1 kind of. He's operated a bit more
3-4-3 at times. Been a 3-4-1-2. He's but there's unpredictability to that as well. Which
exactly.
Again, the first half of the season we were too predictable.
Correct. It's that he wanted to play kind of like a 4-3-3 formation at the start of the season, and it just wasn't working right. But that adaptability of that system has you can move and change it into various different ways. You can take it so it's 5 at the back. You can take it so it's 3-4-3-1 if you want to. You can move everything around. It can be adapted on the fly for different situations that are happening. And you have to give Farke credit for that 100%, because it's been the difference of us being able to, and like you said, it's difficult because it's all right. We're sat in 14th now, which is quite nice, but the other teams around us have also been playing quite well as well. So we've had to match that, and he's had to find ways of us being able to match that, and we've managed to do that. I mean, when you look at it, like you said, what is it? 23 games, 7 wins, 11 draws, 5 losses. 36 for and 30 against. So we've got a +6 goal difference, and we picked up 32 points. 32 points we've picked up since that Man City game.
But just even the last 14, Paul, 21 points in our last 14 games. Just under half of our points total for the season.
Correct. And it's almost like it's almost like there's been a bit of a switch that's flicked on everybody. And I think there was a few players within that team that maybe thought that they didn't deserve to be there or they didn't belong Premier League wise. But that all seems to have changed since Man City. I mean, Bogle, I'd have him in the England squad, but I'm mildly biased. That's just the way that I feel about Bogle. James
Mildly,
Justin, yeah, I'd have him as
just
an
for me, yeah.
I'd have him as an auxiliary backup as well. They're just players that Ampadu, just everybody that's just stepped up a level this second half of the season in particular. And the running stats show that as well, that we've outrun everybody this season.
Yeah.
Absolutely everybody this season. And as well, there's also something to be said for our fitness side of things as well, and our
Medical team.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word for a second then. So that for our medical team and what they've managed to get DCL to play 30 plus games in a season after 2 seasons previously of not being able to play quite a lot of games, scoring goals
Okafor as well, to get him doing the games he's played.
Okafor's my other one that I was going to use. But not only that, players being injured and then coming back earlier than what we thought they were going to do.
Stack, Rodon.
Yep. Ampadu's just a medical marvel anyway. So I mean that just
him and Rodon are made out of something else.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they're made out of, but it's important that these players are all playing for the manager. They all like the manager. They like what he's bringing to the table, and the crowd at Ellen Road really do appreciate what Farke has done this season. Like you said, what needs to be done is it needs to be bottled and it needs to be taken into the next season, because he won't be given as much time next season to make sure that everything's going right. So he needs to make sure that he continue. What he's done now is that he's shown that he can do it. He's shown that the players that he's got, that he can train them into a way to get them to do what they need to do. He needs to take this and then continue it into next season.
I do think they need to review preseason a bit better, because again, we've last year, the year before, we talked about this. You look at Daniel Farke's sides, historically they start seasons relatively slowly.
Yeah.
Which means there's a consistency to that, going back as far as Norwich, Gladbach. That needs to be looked at. And if they can get that right, but the fact that the bulk of that squad this year already understands what we're going to do, there's a buy-in already there. That's a huge step forward even to next season. So whatever else comes in around that squad, that 3, 4, 5 players that they add to that squad and upweight the floor of that squad, I think, which will raise the ceiling of it as well. It'll be interesting to see. On the Burnley game again, just jumping back in before we start to wrap up. So I'll add this back up to the screen. These are the Finalysis player of the match scores. So everyone who's a Leeds fan who's downloaded the Finalysis app gets involved in this. For our channel, this will be used for our player of the year as well. And you can see, if you want to download Finalysis, by the way, QR code's in the bottom right hand corner there. If you want them, myself and Paul are both over on Finalysis, and the link is down below. If you haven't got a QR scanner, don't worry about it. If you're listening on the audio, the link will be in the description of this recording. Noah Okafor 84, Anton Stack 89, man the match, but some good ratings there. But some real standout performances. Jakob Bial again up against another striker this season. Zian Fleming, who got 8 of his 9 goals this season away from home, didn't get a sniff in this game. And he's just dealt with pretty much every single number 9 that he's had to deal with this season. And Joe Rodon, I don't think we talk enough about Joe Rodon this season, because he's just gone about his job coolly, calmly, and quietly, hasn't he? Very, very competent. But it's great to have him back in there. But his performances go, a very, very solid performance by absolutely everybody. But really good standout performances from Anton Stack, Calvert-Lewin, and Noah Okafor as well.
Yeah, no, for me, that is, I mean, Stack is he was just head and shot. He was on it. He was absolutely on it against Burnley. He just has this knack of being able to pinch a ball and then being able, I don't know how he does it, but he goes past somebody.
Toes, that's why. Constantly on his toes.
He doesn't look like he's that quick, but when he's got such a long stride. It's like watching, Usain Bolt run, because his stride's so long. He doesn't need to, he just munches up the ground as he's going. And he's very strong on the ball as well. And because he's got really long limbs, it's practically impossible to get the ball off of him at all. He's an absolute delight to watch. And to say that he was bought as a defensive midfielder as well, it's just
best defensive. In the top 5% of defensive midfielder statistics across the entirety of European football last year. And he's one of the best attacking midfielders in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, he's just unbelievable. I mean, you look at like Ampadu as well. He's just tidy, neat, tidy. moving people around, telling them what to do, getting everybody sorted out. I did find it really funny that Aronson was going to start a fight with somebody again, which was really, really funny. And I'm all for it.
I like that about, but like there's a
I
bit of
do
an
as
edge
well.
coming into his game now. He's starting to buy
Yeah,
into this more and more.
he's got a touch of the spiteful Jack Russell about him, which is really funny to see. But I'm all for that. I mean, even Longstaff, when he came on, Longstaff was calming influence straight away, foot in, making tackles. Yeah, he got a couple of fouls, but I'm not bothered because he's there to do a job. That's what he needs to do. And again, Longstaff, he's paid back what we paid for him. He's been brilliant this season. And they all have.
They all have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. If you want to get involved in this moving forward, folks, by the way, just download Analysis, completely free to join and get involved. And once you're in, you can just do your scores after the games, little scroller, little slider bars on it, really easy to do. And it's just fan opinion. That's all it is, just fan votes. There's no algorithms, there's no aggregates, nothing like that. So you can get involved in it if you wanted. Links are below. Right. Let's have a catch up on where we are for the run in then, Paul. You look at that. We talked about 7 points from the 3 games between Wolves, Bournemouth, and Burnley. Got it. 7 points on the nose we got. Now we said if we get 7 points in those 3, we're probably safe. What we didn't take into consideration was a draw against Brentford and a win against Manchester United as well. And when you look at that, not a defeat in our last 5 matches. And it's been needed because look at Spurs. Look at Nottingham Forest, who've been on a hell of a run. 4 wins and 1 draw in their last 5. Spurs, 2 wins and a draw in their last 3. 2 defeats before that. But when you look at West Ham right now, you would be a little bit concerned if you're a Hammers fan because Spurs are finding a bit of form. Well, I was going to say there was West Ham fans and Max, I think one of the guys in West Ham that I've done some stuff with in the past. And I'm really sorry. Nice guy. But West Ham Central is the reason I want West Ham United to get relegated. He's the only, that account is the only one of the worst fan accounts, by the way. If you have him, just mute him. Just mute him. It's an awful account. But Paul's got about 40 bookmarks saved for West Ham Central. I've even got it written down. West Ham Central is the reason I want them to go down. Literally writing on my notes. But you got West Ham and Spurs probably in it now. Leeds, again, might not have to kick a ball against Spurs to be guaranteed safety. If West Ham lose to Arsenal, they'll be 7 points behind Leeds with only 6 points available for them. So Leeds will be guaranteed to be in the Premier League for next season. But we do go away to Spurs. They're in a good run of form, but I think the way they play might actually suit the way Leeds are playing right now because they are playing a bit more open. Yeah, I think that as well. West Ham United will be home to Arsenal, who have to win. Arsenal to go for a title, and then Newcastle and Forest play each other. But look at the run Forest on right now. You can easily see Forest turning over Newcastle and Bournemouth those last 2 games, 2 of those last 3. And then we've got Brighton at home, West Ham away. So we could be going to the West Ham Stadium, London Stadium, with absolutely nothing to play for, which is what we wanted. So
play the kids.
Getting there, Paul. Nearly there.
Yeah, get Alex Cairns in, get Sam Byram starting, get Chambers in. Fine.
Do we though? Because there is that extra 3 million quid if we finish a place higher. So
that's the other thing. But what I will say is that Farke has turned around and said 43 points is a fantastic achievement. I want the other 9. Yeah. So they're not stopping. And I don't think the players are either. The players want to go out and get that other. If, for argument's sake, where we are now, if we got another 9 points and finished on 52, what a season that would be.
And a semi-final of an FA Cup.
Exactly. What a season that would be for us. It would be incredible. Absolutely incredible.
So then we got that weekend. So, Paul, how do you feel about the Spurs game? Sharon going to have to win out a point there would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, point. I'd take a point. Of course, I'd take a point all day long. I think if West Ham lose to Arsenal, I think you'll see a very, very relaxed Leeds United side at the whatever the name of that stadium is. You'll see a very, very relaxed Leeds United side there, and you might see something that's pretty good as well. Because although they have won their last couple of games, don't forget they still have a hell of a lot of players out. And we just need to keep doing what we're doing. Just keep playing and play our game the way that we know that we can play. We want to turn up exactly the same way that we did at Manchester. I'm not going to, scum.
Yeah, Manchester's fine. Yeah.
So we need to turn up exactly the same way that we did there. We need to turn up exactly the same as we did against Chelsea, exactly the same as we did against Crystal Palace, exactly the same as we've done against Wolves recently, and exactly the same as we've done against Burnley recently. The boys have got it in them to do it. They just need to continue it. And how good would it be to go from the international break to the end of the season unbeaten? It'd be absolutely fantastic if that was the case. But
4 points
it's
off Sunderland as well, which would be nice to finish above them after all the
yes, it would.
what's the right word for this during the summer? Look what they've done and look what we haven't done.
Yeah,
during the summer.
yeah,
And
pretty
Leeds are
much.
doing it on the cheap, and then we're still that close to them,
But
So
what I would
and again,
say though, even with that though, Joe, what I would say is don't forget they spent 40 million more than us
they
on
did, yeah.
players. They had a bigger ceiling of money to be able to spend compared to what we were able to spend during the summer. So the fact that we're within touching distance of them speaks volumes.
Does, yeah, especially given the start that we had and the start that they had over the course. Again, marathon, not a sprint. So yeah, again, look, I said it on the news today, and maybe what we should take into the summer is maybe be a little bit more patient about players that come in and give them a time to settle in. Don't be judging them and making definitive statements on them after 5 or 6 games. Give them a chance to settle in and then see where we are coming halfway through the season. But you would hope that the recruitment this summer will be more. Well, I was going to say quicker, but it won't be quicker because of the World Cup. If you can get a couple done before the World Cup and the rest afterwards. But again, if they follow the same lines for me, if you can get a couple of smart free transfers in, the likes of Danilo Doki, the likes of Hidemasa Marita, if you can get those two in for nothing and then spend your extra cash you want on your goalkeeper, centre back, left full back, your 10 and your 9, fine. And then you sell a ton of players as well that are on the fringes and just elevate that squad another level and then go in because the basis of that squad is good enough for me. But yeah, you look where we are right now. And I think again, if you said to somebody at the start of the season, we'll finish ahead of Spurs, Newcastle, and Crystal Palace, they would have said to you, "What, we're going to be Europe, are we? You mad?" But again, we're only 6 points off Europe, so yeah, it's a funny one. It's been a weird old season, but it does show that middle block of the table is getting bigger in terms of the amount of sides that are fighting for those middle spaces, which is good going into next year and giving Leeds an opportunity maybe to become that established side they want to become next year and again get it right, but. Yeah, as it sits 14th in the table, 43 points, -5 goal difference. If we hadn't have lost by all those goals to Arsenal twice, we'd be in a plus goal difference and the only side down there with that. So,
yes,
yeah, still things to improve on, but far more calm and solid than it was this time. At the start of this time last week.
It's nice. The knot that I've had in my chest for the past 2 or 3 months has dissipated immeasurably right now. So I'm in a good, happy place to say the least. I've not had to break out any emergency jellos like Dan Moylan or anything like that. I haven't had to do any of that. So we're in a good place. We're in a good place.
Yeah, Dan Moylan's jello's a good look though. So
it is actually, yeah.
It's scientifically proven now the results did last season and this year. So yeah,
correct,
absolutely. Yeah, okay. Right, we'll leave it there then, I suppose, folks. You can check out Paul's channel details down below and check out his video today, which is talking about the players and those nominations for the players and the players of the month awards as well in a lot more detail and his thoughts on the squad. So you can check all that detail down below. You can check out today's news as well. And again, download Finals if you want to support the channel. And we do have a partnership with OK Jersey, 8% off World Cup shirts for World Cup summer using the code TView in your checkout basket. Order a size up on all shirts you get there. And that'll be it for us tonight, folks. Thanks for joining us as per usual. And I will see you tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Talk to you later. See ya.